Have you stepped up your baking game lately? Well, the last several weeks, we have been doing a lot of baking, not to mention our weekly homemade pizzas. And with doing all this baking, I've realized that I needed to create some new systems in our pantry to make getting to things a lot easier. So if you're new around here, I'm Lindsay with Organize to Save, and I'm here to help you get organized, but on a budget. I love sharing tips and tricks on how to be more productive and organized so that way you can declutter and simplify. Now, I absolutely love having a pantry, but like I said, mine needed a little bit of a refresh, including a better solution for all of my baking supplies. As with every organizing project, I first start with clearing out the space. It's so important that you take everything out so that you can not only inventory everything that you have, but determine if you actually want it to go back into the space. Now, I've recently decluttered a lot of items in this pantry, so pretty much everything is staying, except that I removed our trash and recycling bins and moved them under our kitchen island, which, as you'll see, freed up so much space in this pantry. When you're working on your pantry, there are a few very important things to look out for. One, you need to check for stale and expired foods. You're going to want to look at all of your foods, make sure that you remove everything that is stale and expired because you're not going to be wanting to cook with things that are expired. A little bonus hack for you, keep a pantry list of foods that you can plan your meals around so that we actually use up the foods that you already have on hand. I love using my meal planner worksheet on my iPad to write down all of the ingredients I have on hand and then plan my weekly meals around what's in my fridge, freezer, and pantry. If you're curious about what kind of meals we eat, make sure you're subscribed as I'm working on a new video where I'll be sharing 5 easy recipes utilizing things I had on hand. And if you're loving this video so far, please give it a big thumbs up. The second thing you're going to want to look out for are duplicates. Now, if you don't have your pantry very organized, it's very easy to keep buying the same thing over and over again because you didn't think you had it on hand. Now, in my pantry, for example, I had noodles that I had a couple different open packages. So I went ahead and just put those all together in one, and now I don't need to buy noodles for a while. And speaking of excess packaging, if you can, start to decant your items. I personally love to go to the Dollar Tree. They have an awesome selection of little containers. You could even use mason jars, just whatever you have on hand. But the Dollar Tree is a great place to go for budget-friendly items. Now, if you have deep shelves, a great way to utilize your space is to use these big storage containers. These work super well because you can easily slide it in and out and you're not losing things in the back of your cupboards. I especially like utilizing these for all of my small appliances because it keeps all of the little pieces contained in one spot. Now, as you're organizing, you're going to want to group like things together. So in my pantry, I have a couple different zones. So right here, you're going to see this is kind of my overstock and refill drawer. This just goes on the very bottom of our pantry. So anytime I need to restock anything, I can easily go there. But one super fun thing that we've added for the summer is to create a s'mores bin. We absolutely love doing bonfires. So having all of the supplies in one bin makes it super easy to grab it and bring it out to the patio. I also like to do this with all of my decorating, making muffins, cupcakes, anything related to that. I group everything together into these little containers, and then that way I can easily pull it down anytime we want to bake. And speaking of baking, this is my favorite thing that I did in this pantry. So every time I go to bake, I tend to use quite a few ingredients, and it was getting kind of annoying to have to carry everything over individually. So I found this little cart. I actually found this from Michael's, but you can find them pretty much anywhere these days. But this was a great way for me to, one, utilize the empty space that I had from removing my trash and recycling bin, and then to also make baking so much easier. Here's some of those Dollar Tree containers that I was talking about earlier. I love utilizing these for all of my flours that I keep on hand. On the top shelf, I put the things that I access most. So I have like my almond flour, pancake mix, coconut flour, all those things that I use every single week. On the second shelf, I decided to utilize a basket to contain all the teeny tiny little baking things that I have. So I had like my baking sodas, baking powders, different extracts in there, so that way as I roll the cart, they're not going to tumble over on each other, and it's going to just help keep them a little bit more secured in place. So like I said, you need to decant your stuff because it's going to make it so much easier to access. I had several bags of chocolate chips that I decided to put in this one container, so that way as I'm baking I can just easily grab that out. I'm also using a bin on the bottom, again, just to help things from toppling over as I move this cart. Now every time I want to bake, it's so easy to just simply roll the cart all the way over to the countertop, so that way I can grab whatever ingredients I need. I need to be making lots of trips to and from the pantry anymore, and I seriously love this baking cart. A couple other finishing touches that I added to install these under cabinet hanging shelves. This is a great way to just add an extra storage space. It really utilized the space underneath the shelf that was just empty, and I was still able to easily slide in and out that cart. And then I also just 3M hooked my grocery bag holder onto the wall, so that way I could easily grab out bags as I need them. Okay, so let's real quick remember what it looked like before. And now let's check out the after. I am absolutely obsessed with this baking cart. Simplest thing, but it makes such a huge difference now when I am baking. The pantry is now a much calmer environment. I can easily access everything that I need to get to on the shelves. I didn't rearrange a whole lot of stuff on the upper section, but just adding all of the small appliances into those Tupperware bins is making it so much easier for me to find what I'm looking for. All of those bins work great as slide out drawers, and it's a super budget friendly solution. So now that our pantries are tackled, if you need to tackle the rest of your kitchen, check out the video on your screen right now to see how I organize the inside of my kitchen cupboards and see how you can implement that into your own space. We'll see you over there.